I'm afraid that my iMac has reached the end of life. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I've made the decision. Windows must be installed on my iMac. Is there anyone here that wishes to join me?
I'll do it. I too shall install Windows.
You're very brave. Thank you.
The rest of you must leave.
I would also like to install Windows. Please, sir, let me install Windows.
This is a mission you don't come back from. You should buy a new iMac and enjoy your life.
Yes, sir. Long live Apple.
Here we are, ta-da! Windows on the iMac 2009. The installation wasn't too bad, and it actually runs fairly smoothly at first glance, but you're going to have several issues when you get in, so I'm just going to go ahead and look at those real quick. Installing was no problem, and I'll show you a little bit about how to do it after this, but this is how it looks. So you have Core 2 Duo, 8 gigabytes. It just looks like a PC at this point. And once you boot into Windows, when you reboot the computer, it goes right back into Windows. So if you want to use the Mac again, you'll have to select that drive. So I currently have two partitions, the Windows partition and the Mac partition. So I can go back and forth between the two. So the first thing you'll notice is there are many things that are not recognized. Your sound will not work. Even though this says that the sound is working, nothing happens. And other people haven't reported this, but in my case, whenever the driver was installed for the GPU, it went to a black screen. So I think that's just me because I haven't seen other people say that. So I disabled it for now. It runs fine on the processor, and this is just to be able to use the computer. It's not really for playing games yet. I'll try that later. Also, you will receive one of the part of the installation processes is to put Boot Camp on a USB, and that's this right here. And you're going to have drivers. So these are supposed to be the drivers for these things. So let's go ahead and install those. I'll be right back and see if we can clear up some of these problems right here. Alright, we were able to install the Bluetooth drivers, the webcam driver, the sound. That works. This one here, there is some driver for that. I've seen it before. I don't know if it's in here. It's something about the processor. I might have to dig around in here. Not a big deal. Some people don't even bother with that. But let's see. We still have this one. And then there's drivers here. Let's see what's the date on this. 2015. So when I went to download drivers for the 4850, the newest ones available was from 2011. So I don't know if maybe installing the older driver would help. And then, not sure what this is. Now let's try this. I installed the Bluetooth drivers, but I'm not sure if the Apple keyboard will work yet. There might be something where you have to pair it because it's searching. You can see. it's not paired now. So we'll try that later. I use a PC keyboard anyway on the Mac, so it's not a big deal for me, but I'm sure if you had a Mac and you had one of these, you'd want it to work. So there's probably more steps for that. So let's reboot it, and then we'll try and tackle the video driver.
All right, so we're re-recording over the original audio. I'm not sure what happened to the recording that I did before. And so I'm going to kind of estimate as to what I was doing at this point. So the video driver did not work, and we're just going to run off of the integrated graphics. And it's kind of okay. It's not great, it just works. It reminds me of just, an old school computer or something that had no GPU. But I think you can just kind of get away with it at this point. The fact that it works at all is great. And so you're not going to be able to play games or anything without a graphics driver. And see, we try in full screen. This is 1080p. It's not bad. This is very, very acceptable, in my opinion. And let's see what else we're going to do here. Trying to remember what I was doing at this point. Playing with more drivers, not sure. So now we're rebooting back into Mac OS, so you can see some of the steps that we took to make it work. And you're going to want to pick on the Mac OS instead of the EFI boot. And now we're back in Mac OS.
All right, I'm just going to show you a little more closely here about what I did. So the first step, I believe, was to install Boot Camp. So you just type in Boot Camp in your search bar, and you get this. And then it will install. It's going to put what it's going to do is I'm not exactly sure what it does, but it said it did something to the hard drive, and then it will copy files to a USB stick, and those are the drivers and everything. So that's that, and then you go to what this stuff keeps popping up. Then you would go to here, and what is it? Sorry, you go to Disk Utility. And then when you look at your hard drive, go to Partition. Now this would normally be full. So what you do is you drag the little thing to how big you want your other partition to be, and then you do plus. And then you're gonna select, it's gonna say exFAT here. So you pick exFAT, whatever size it's gonna be, and then apply, and that's gonna make the partition. When you go to install Windows, you're gonna format it as NTFS, but it starts as exFAT. Okay, so that's next step. And quickly then you go and download this software called GDisk. And if you search for it here, but you're not going to install it yet. Then you have to go to recovery mode. And that's when you boot up and you hold Command R. That puts you in the setup mode. And there's a command you have to type in. You go into Terminal. You type in this command. I'll type it here. You just hit Enter, do that. After you reboot again, then you install this, then you're done. And then all you need is a Windows 10 USB installer. Install Windows 10 to that partition. And that's it. And then the rest you saw. So it's pretty easy. There's a few steps. It's not
by any means a 10-minute process. You're probably going to spend an hour at least trying to do this, but it was pretty smooth, I think. And I just watched one of those tutorial videos, just a random one. There's tons of them. So I'm not going to make a full tutorial because of that. There's plenty more out there. But yeah, it works. Windows on the iMac.